Powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Now, live from inside the Matt Black Kia Studios. It's Football at 4.
And Football at 4 is powered by the Inside the Birds podcast, InsideTheBirds.com. Check out the Inside the Birds pregame and postgame show on all of their social media platforms, including YouTube. Jeff Mosher and this man, he is the third member of the NWO, Adam Caplan, jumping on board here on the Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. Adam Caplan, welcome back, man.
Mike, but see, I never made my heel turn, though. I was always a heel.
Bad guys. What did Scott Hall say? Bad guys? I can't remember, but
yeah, that's for those of you who don't know what we're talking about. It's a professional wrestling reference.
By the way, these odds just got sent to me. Eagles Super Bowl 20-1, and now down to 14-1. Division plus 120, now minus 200. So a big turn. Even though Adam, fans were not 100% thrilled with what they saw on Sunday.
They weren't. No, it's so funny you say that. So earlier today, I've been out and seeing someone at a supermarket said to me, he goes, "What's wrong with us?" And the guy didn't even say hello to me. And I just, dude, what's wrong with it? He looked like, I guess he knows who I am. And I was laughing. I was like, well, it's the first game. Strange things happen. They still scored a ton of points. They did some good things defensively, some things that were terrible defensively. They should feel fortunate they won, but they did. And good teams find ways to win. I keep telling people that. I know people don't want to hear that, but that's we always call things down the middle. We're not fans. We're fans of football. We're objective. So though it's good for our business, our company, when the Eagles do well, but we have to be objective. And it was certainly a mixed bag game, but the good was phenomenal. I mean, you got to feel great about A.J. Brown. Some good things that Hurts did, particularly with his legs. And Mike, it's typical of Week 1. There's just a lot of things that go in Week 1 that you can't account for. Where you go, wow, I didn't think where did that come from? And that kind of stuff happened.
Yeah, and I guess one of them, and I guess this will be an evolving thing. Jalen Hurts. A lot of people, he ran 17 times. Did he run too much? And if so, what could have been different?
Well, okay. So when he dropped back, almost all of those runs he did on his own because he had to. For the most part, there were a couple throws where he could have hung in there and stepped up in the pocket. I'm telling you, almost all of them, not all, but almost all of them, maybe saved 2 or 3. He had to go. Like any quarterback, even if it was like Jared Goff, who's really stationary, he would have run. I mean, you would have to go. And I have to tell you, this is the most explosive we've seen Hurts. He's not someone you would say was explosive. He was shifty in the past. I don't know if he did. Like, I'm someone who gets stretched 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 days a week for tennis. I don't know if he gets stretching. I know they all get stretched, but did he get a lot of stretching leading up to the game? He was so explosive on that carpet in Detroit, Mike. I could not believe it. So the question is good. Could have they done anything different? Anytime he dropped back in the first half, he was under siege. Actually, for a lot of the game, he was under siege. It was just their line had some. They missed on some blocks. It just that was a problem. On tomorrow's Inside the Birds, we're talking about that. We'll give you what our sources told us from tape study, but in terms of who made the mistakes. But the fact of the matter is, no, they don't want him running that much. The sweet spot for running for him should be 5 to 7 times a game, up where Josh Allen is. And that's it. And by the way, he threw the ball 32 times. That's the number that I gave John Hansen, exact number I gave John for the season. He asked him, and I said 32 times, about 5 or 6 more per game than last season. When they were running the ball, he was around 26. After they became a running team, he was throwing the ball about 26 times per game. That's not enough. 32 times a game to me is pretty good.
Yeah, and he was what? I think he threw 32 exactly, right? That was the number that he threw. So Hurts throws 32. He runs 17. You're saying a lot of those runs he had to run. We'll see how that changes in week number 2. Let's go to Miles Sanders because 96 yards. He had a touchdown. He had the big run late in the game that really sealed the deal for them, and they gave him 13 carries. Not a whole heck of a lot, but 13 for 96 with the touchdown. What you think of the usage there for Miles Sanders?
Loved it. I thought for a guy who'd missed over 4 weeks, you have to worry about the conditioning. He was never in danger of playing. Like 2 years ago, they made a decision because he was coming back from a decent hamstring strain not to play him. If the game meant something 2 years ago, it was like the playoffs, he would have played. But they didn't want it to linger. this thing was healed 2 weeks ago or so, but they practiced the week prior to the game. He practiced for a couple days. He ramped it up last week, but you don't want to overwork him when he's been out for a while. And I just thought 15 touches, 13 in the run game. He caught both passes, looked good in that doing that. One was for 11 yards. I thought overall I liked it. Now, doesn't mean this week, this Monday night against Minnesota, the home opener, he can't have 15 to 17 carries. That his sweet spot for carries should be 13 to 15 a game. He's so much more capable of catching the football. He's actually really explosive in the pass game. But
his rookie year, he was.
Oh, it was unbelievable, Mike. Exactly. That ironically, I could still see that pass down against Minnesota, bomb down the field from Wentz to Sanders. Yeah, I could see that in 2019 at Minnesota. So yeah, he can do it. But that's what Gainwell can do as well.
Well, with that, you like the way they use Sanders. You mentioned Gainwell. Boston Scott also had 4 carries for 10 yards in the game. Gainwell, by the way, 5 for 20. That's 4 yards a pop. But the Eagles still need that short yardage guy.
Look, Trey Sherman will be that guy as long as he does what he's supposed to do in practice. They have to give him a shot, and you've got one big guy on the roster. That's Trey Sermon. It's not that they need to dress Mike for running backs, but what's going to happen? The 4-minute offense is basically when you're up in a game, you need a back like Jordan Howard who could salt the game away, where you just give it to this guy, let him grind out carries. Sermon, some people think is too finesse for a guy's size. He needs to be more powerful. And this is why the Bears traded Jordan Howard to the Eagles, because they thought he would not use his size correctly. And then he went to Philly. He sure did. So that's why Sermon's on the roster. At some point, as long as he does well in practice, that should be his role. They got away with the way that they grinded carries late in the game. Short yardage, they got away with it. It was interesting.
Is there somebody that made the game day roster that didn't have a role that they can then evaluate and then maybe make Sermon active and deactivate that? Was there somebody that was activated Sunday that didn't really have a role?
At any position?
Yeah, I didn't see the snap. Like, was there somebody that was activated Sunday that really just didn't play that they could play a fourth running back?
I see what you're saying. Instead of keeping Sermon up and keeping someone down, but no, what I was saying is Dean only played 3 snaps. But I hear you. By the way, they only had to have 6 inactives because they only had dressed 52 players on the 53-man roster. So that was not even a factor. It's just that they didn't think Thurman's ready yet. I get it. We didn't think he was going to play.
Mm-hmm. Like Kayvon Wallace played. Does he play special? Because he had 2 snaps.
Well, here's the problem, though. They only dressed 3 safeties for that game. Blankenship was inactive. So, no, but at some point over the next 3 or 4 games, Sermon should be able to get some short yardage stuff. But they got away with it. But, yeah, I'm interested to see what happens against Minnesota Monday night with a running back.
All right, let's take a look at A.J. Brown. Dominant, but where was his partner in crime, Devonta Smith, and is this going to be a problem? I don't have a problem. Look, if the Lions aren't going to change their coverage, I'm going to throw the ball to my best player, but can they keep this up?
Well, what happened is, and why Devonta Smith didn't get the ball, Brown wasn't one. Rarely, I have to double-check. I was told he was not double-teamed, but I'm going to ask someone else if they saw the same thing.
I did not see them change their coverage much.
Well, no, Amari Warrior, who's actually a talented guy, but has given up a lot of big plays in his career. He's 6'1". He's actually technically taller than Brown. Brown's 6 foot 7/10 of an inch. But he plays like he's 6'4". He was unbleeping. I can't curse here, but I'll just say he was unbleeping believable. He just, when Moshe and I did a live stream at the time of the trade, I couldn't control my enthusiasm for this trade. I'm not a fan, but I'm a fan of this player. We're supposed to be objective. I knew how great he is. Like, don't let the numbers fool you last year. He had nothing to do with why he didn't get the ball a lot. Run-based offense. Running back Henry gets hurt. They pull the air out of the run game, out of the pass game. You can't ask Ryan Tannehill to throw the ball a lot. He struggles when you put too much on him. And he's in an offense now. We're going to throw the ball more. And it was unbelievable. He just was so physically dominant. And his ability to run after the catch is special. He doesn't get enough credit for that. And he averaged 15 yards plus per catch in this game. He is special. He'll easily, I don't know if he'll play 17 games because of the condition of his knees for the long term, but if he plays 15 games, Mike, he'll have around 100 catches plus.
All right, offensive line, I want to get your thoughts on that. And they're blocking versus the pass. You know, obviously a lot of people look at the Eagles' offensive line as a dominant group and that they're going to be, they're going to get the check mark in most matchups. What do you think of them on Sunday?
I would say this, Mike. The one issue that you had, they were not ready for the blitz. They just were not ready for Aaron Glenn doing what he did. He threw the kitchen sink at him. I know they scored 31 points. Well, much of that is because of the run game and a little bit in the pass game with Brown. And some big plays from Hurts to Brown. But the fact of the matter is they have to do better pass blocking. That was not good. And Minnesota, by the way, has got a better pass rush. They've got better personnel in their front seven. And you're going to see that on Monday night. We'll talk more about this on Friday, but trust me, that was an issue.
Run defense. This has been a big story. 10 yards a carry, Adam, when Jordan Davis was not on the field. 2.9 yards a carry when he was on the field. So
yeah, be careful with
run
that.
Defense was poor. What do you say? I hear you. Be careful.
Yeah, but what I'm going to tell you, Jordan Davis, I'm trying to be as nice as I can for the people who are thinking like Jordan Davis had a reason to do with that 3 yards per carry when he was on the field. You're not watching the tape. We were told by Moshe and I were told like 3 people. It's not factual. He did have some plays where he definitely helped, but to think like as you'll hear, I'll give you a nugget. You'll hear us shoot this down on tomorrow's show. It's not factual. There were a couple plays where you could say, okay, particularly in short yardage. Remember, some of those plays he was in on were short yardage. Of course, the yards per carry are going to be smaller. Come on.
There you go.
Just be careful. People throw out narratives, and I don't get involved with Twitter anymore. I just don't shoot stuff down anymore on Twitter. I used to years ago, but it's a waste of time because people don't have access to the information that's real. Just let them think what they want. This is why you listen to Inside the Birds in our segments here. We shoot you straight. But another thing, Jordan Davis was never going to play a lot. I don't know where this came from. He's got a long way to go. He's very gifted, but it's technique, assignment, weight, conditioning. I don't know where people thought he was playing a lot. We didn't talk a lot about it in the summer because we knew he wasn't going to play a lot this season. Maybe later in this, like mid-season, maybe a little more. Yeah. That sweet spot's 20 to 25 plays a game. That to me what he is. And now the guys in front of him have to play better. They did not do well against the run. The guys up front. That was bad. All right. That was definitely not good.
What about the pass rush? We got new toys. You got Hassan Reddick. Where was the pass rush?
Non-existent. Reddick was given a chance to rush the passer. He couldn't get home. I put some of this on the coaches. Gannon's got to free him up a little bit better. I know he's new to the team. Boy, Reddick was tremendous in training camp. I get that there's no tackling. It's different speed. Totally get that. Very fair. But this is the regular season. He's got to be a joker. You got to find out where the weakness is on the defense and on the offensive line and exploit it. Yeah, Goff does not move very well. That was bad. Yeah, Gannon, I know Gannon's being sort of unfairly criticized. People are low and fired already. This is quick. People stop. Gannon's got to do a better job. I get that. We're not sparing him totally, but be careful with what you're saying. I think, Mike, people are crazy going overboard with Gannon stuff.
Yep. I think, look, I likened it yesterday, Adam, to getting new toys on Christmas, ripping them out of the box, and not reading the instructions before you play with them. You got to kind of read the instructions and get a game or two to kind of figure out what you want to do with some of these new pieces.
Exactly.
And let's look at real quick the coverage at the back end. They had a good start to the game. What you think of the new secondary?
I thought that there needs to be a little bit more disguise. We didn't see enough of it, to be quite frank here, and I'll leave it at that. They have to be better. Their zone drops were good in the first half. They covered lanes. I know Kaiser White could cover, but T.J. Edwards was actually also pretty good in coverage for the most part. They shut down Hawkinson, but the back end is where they struggle in the second half when they're up 17. Gannon will learn from that. But we went after Gannon pretty hard last season because it was all factual. It was all backed on by sourcing and tape study from our sources. But we try to be fair. It's strictly tape study. It's not TV. It's not conjecture. It's based on the facts. And Gannon did not do a good enough job last season. We called him out repeatedly from our sources from around the league, and we're going to do that this season if it's warranted. I think a little bit of the stuff that's coming out is over the top, and we'll leave it at that.
By the way, hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. He's a heel, Adam Caplan.
Scott Hall, yeah. The late, great Scott Hall.
There you go. All right, another edition of Football at 4 in the books. We'll talk Eagles-Vikings Monday night on Friday's edition with Adam Caplan.
Can't wait.
That's going to be a good one. We'll see.
It's a great game.
All right, Adam. Appreciate it, bud.
Thanks, man. See you.
All right, Adam Caplan here on the Sports Bash Football at 4 every day, right here, 4 o'clock, InsideTheBirds.com and the Inside the Birds podcast. They got the Inside the Birds pregame show, which you can check out on their YouTube channel, Inside the Birds. Tomorrow, Jeff Mosher's here as we got to turn the page to Minnesota.